Good morning, beautiful angel. I got a channel message. There is a way of flowing with God in much the same way that somebody allows another to lead them in a couple's dance. Anyone who has done ballroom dancing as a follower knows that there is a certain amount of surrender involved and a whole lot of tuning in. It is the same way with your spirituality and your soul path. You will have to become one with your partner, which in this case is God, the universe, source, and tap into their energy, allowing them to guide you, trusting the process every step of the way. This is probably one of the hardest things about this path. I think we can all agree. Anybody who's been on this path for any length of time knows that surrendering the ego attachment to being in control, and learning how to flow with something that doesn't feel entirely natural at first, because the ego has been such a huge part of our life since the day that we could, consciously have a thought. And I feel like that's pretty early. I don't know the details, but I'm guessing it's, when we're about 1 or 2 years old, the ego starts to become a part of our lives. But the thing is that God, whatever you believe in, has also been a part of your life for this entire time. It's just been a more invisible relationship, a little bit more of a quiet, in the background relationship for a lot of people, because we don't necessarily, not all of us are in tune with our connection to spirit. But as a person who has done ballroom dancing as a follower, I remember feeling really weird about it, because I've been raised in a very masculine environment my entire life, which means that I've always had to kind of go and do and be the one making decisions, always. I've never been around anyone who was in charge, aside from a parental figure, and that was questionable, okay? Very questionable. So the idea of surrendering, let's just pretend that we're dancing with someone. And it doesn't matter what gender you are, even if you've never followed, you can imagine, close your eyes and imagine that you are in somebody else's arms and you're supposed to wait for their cue. You're not supposed to move until they tell you to move. And they don't tell you, they give you a little nudge, they give you some kind of indication with their body. And you're so tuned into their movements that you become one with them. Okay, at least a good dancer. And that's what I'm doing with spirit right now. And that's what a lot of you are doing as well. And that's what some of you are resisting doing. And I totally get it. It's not easy. Spirit says jump, and you jump. Spirit says wait. Everything's going to be okay, even though it doesn't feel like it's going to be okay. And you're supposed to wait. And if some of you guys wonder what it's like to quit a job, a business, where you have a regular income coming in and just rely on spirit to take care of you, like I'm doing right now, it's fucking scary. And sometimes you do get to a point where you have $50 in the bank and you're like, okay, spirit, am I still supposed to just wait? Our ego's like, we must spring into action. And especially as a person who's been a business owner my entire life, it's really hard for me not to just go do work that isn't connected to my soul path. But spirit doesn't want us to do that. Spirit wants us to rely on God. Okay, I don't like to call God a he or she, so I stumble over that sometimes, because I don't believe God has a gender. God doesn't have a gender, in my opinion, humbly. But in any case, some of you guys are being asked to surrender. And so here's the thing that I'm learning in real time. Okay, you guys are getting to watch me do this in real time. You're going to jump levels, okay? And every time you jump a level, you're going to potentially struggle to hold the vibration of that new level. So every time I grow, I feel like I'm met with new challenges. And the new challenges generally have to do with further degrees of surrender. Like right now, rent is due in a couple days. I only have a couple $100s in the bank. I'm not stressing out. This is new for me. I'm not going to lie. Okay, this is new for me. It feels uncomfortable because a part of me is like, are you sure, spirit? Are you sure I'm not supposed to go out and work? Because that's my inclination. I have a lot of skills. I could just go out and work. But spirit is very clear. We're not supposed to go backward. Okay? If I was to go out and do some work just for money, nothing that fed my soul at all, that's going backward for me. My cat agrees. We're not supposed to go backward. Okay? What we're supposed to do is surrender with the fear. And you know what? Don't dive into the worst case scenario, but just ask yourself, what are you really afraid of? What are you really afraid of? and just go back and remember a time when you were also afraid of that thing and how it worked out in the end, and how it always kind of works out in the end. And even when things don't work out and the worst case scenario happens, like whatever, you're homeless. You okay, honey? He doesn't usually just meow like that for no reason. Sometimes he does, but maybe he's telling me to get back on track. The point is, you're going to be challenged, and your ego's going to tell you, and also other people are going to tell you. Other people are going to think you're doing the wrong thing. They're not going to understand that you're in surrender to God. Here's another analogy. Okay, so for those of you that are religious or just deeply spiritual, and this doesn't freak you out, I'm dedicated to God, so this doesn't freak me out. But say, for instance, a monk or somebody who's dedicated their entire lives to something higher, and even to vow of celibacy and all of that stuff. There are a lot of people in the world who wouldn't understand. They wouldn't get why someone would dedicate their life to that. To them, it might seem like a waste of time. But to me, I understand it. We all have our certain levels of dedication and surrender. And my point about this is that other people aren't going to get what you're doing. But that's okay. That doesn't stop the monks or the nuns from doing what they do. You know what I mean? They keep going, knowing that they're serving something higher. And we don't have to worry about what the people around us think. Okay? And we also need to remember that the whole point of this message and what I'm saying and what we're doing is that we have to remember that this is how we are in God's hands. Okay? It doesn't matter if you believe in God up in the sky, or God is nature all around you, God is the universe. You're in God's hands. So for instance, for me, it's like you only have a couple $100 in the bank and rent is due. You're in God's hands. This isn't up to you to solve. All you can do is pray, ask for help, and then surrender. And the thing is, what I was trying to say earlier before my cat interrupted me, is that what we're supposed to do when we get to these levels is not go into desperation, not go into fear, not allow our ego to tank us down a spiral of fear and whatever, guilt and worry, because that's not going to do any good, okay? What we're supposed to do is the complete opposite of that. Is to cultivate self-love, is to pour into ourselves, is to pour into God, is to double down on our position of trust and faith, but not in a false way. We have to actually feel it. And part of that involves a hell of a lot of surrender. And usually in order to get to that surrender, it has to be kind of beaten into us. And I don't mean literally. But in my experience, I have been humbled so hard by God. It's kind of like being broken. I channeled a message about this. I'll read it at another time. But being broken like a wild horse. A lot of us with our egos are wild horses, okay? We're just like bucking and kicking. We're like, fuck this. Fuck you. I don't trust you. I don't know you. Get away from me. And over and over and over, the Spirit has to kind of reach out and say, it's okay. It's okay. And we have to kind of break down and freak out and let that all go. And it takes time. And some of you might recall a video a couple months ago where, it's like certain levels of desperation in my past. I feel like the more the Spirit pushes me into a corner, financially especially, the ego wants to take over, but the more and more I surrender and I start expressing myself in new ways and finding new avenues to trust and remaining in a high vibration, and it doesn't mean that every single second of the day it's hard. It's hard to remain in a high vibration, but that's part of your job. Okay, and that's part of what this new level is. That's what I mean when I say you graduate to a new level and it's hard to hold your frequency. That's why we sometimes dip in and out of it, which makes it harder for us to attract the miracles and the blessings that we really want and need. That's why it's so important to continue coming back to God, continue coming back to yourself, continue pouring in to your own self-love and your own cup, so that when because you want to align vibrationally with the blessings that you desire, okay, with the life you desire, with the partner you desire, with whatever it is that you are praying for. If you go into ego, you're going to start aligning with low vibration people and things again. It's just going to take you right back where you were before. And it sounds so counterintuitive, but even if you only have $50 in the bank and your rent is due tomorrow, the best thing you can do is pray, ask for help, and surrender. Do whatever God tells you to do. Again, whatever you believe in, your higher self. Do what your higher self tells you to do. Give gratitude for everything you have and watch your vibration rise. Feel your vibration rise and watch you attract people and things that match that vibration, and watch miracles happen when you align with that high vibration frequency. It's scary. But here's the thing. we're going all in on our dreams. That's what this is. It's not just about serving God, it's about serving this inner part of us that knows that we came here to do this. And if you talk to any celebrity who made it, they were hanging on. You know, Jim Carrey, I think he had a couple, like, rent was due and he was about to get evicted, and he just was still holding on to his dream, and look at him now. You know what I mean? The reason why people make it is because they almost are delusional. Some people think they're delusional, but they know they have a vision. God planted that vision in your head for a reason. No one else can see it but you. You don't have to convince them. Don't convince them. Don't waste your time. Focus on the path, raising your vibration and getting good with yourself, getting good with that surrender. You know, if you're in the palm of God's hand, you're flailing all around, freaking out and falling off, you know, you're not going to be able to be taken care of. We have to be still. We have to surrender. And we also have to ask for what we need, okay? And there's nothing wrong with asking for what we need. And that's also part of being broken, like a horse, like a wild horse. And again, some of you guys might remember a couple months ago, me asking for help was really, really fucking hard, okay? It's not that hard for me anymore. It's still hard. My ego is still struggling, don't get me wrong. But I'm working so fucking hard for this. I'm all in. I'm all in. I'm not going to go get another job. I'm not going to go dilute my energy doing anything but the work that God sent me here to do, okay? So I'm trying to set an example for you, so that when you are in a position where you have $50 in the bank and rent is due in a couple days, you're going to remember that freaking out is the last thing that you should be doing. Go inward, pray. If you need to cry and scream and yell at God or your guides, I've done that. I've done that. Sometimes it's important to just get all that out. Get it out. Get the anger out, get the tears out, get the desperation out, so that you can reach a new level. And also, that's usually when the miracles happen. When we hit rock bottom, that's usually when we finally surrender. And then God can kind of like, okay, now that you're surrendered, let me bring you something. Okay, and it's happened to me. And that's why I'm in faith right now. I know it will happen again. Whether it's somebody signing up for a mentorship package, which of course is a win-win, I'd love to work with you. Whether it's somebody just donating generously and changing the whole scenario, whether it's just something from the heavens that has nothing to do with another person. God works in mysterious ways, but all I know is that there's a higher version of me already on the other side of this who's like, psh, please, honey. This is nothing. Keep your vibration high. Trust in the dance with the universe, okay? Because you are dancing with God. You're dancing with the universe. And you have to remember how to flow. If you watched a couple's dance and one of them was all stiff and weird and awkward and like yelling at the person leading them, and you know, in the way that a lot of us are with God or with our guides, it wouldn't be very fun to watch. It wouldn't be very graceful. It wouldn't be very inspiring. Get into an inspired flow with the universe and learn how to surrender, okay? It's not easy. Again, I can help you, all right? I'd love to work with you, not only to pay my rent, but because this is what I came here to do. I came here to change lives and to inspire people through my own path, walking this road alone in front of everyone in the dark so that I can shine a light on where I've been and create a pathway for people to follow. That's why I came here. Has it been easy? No, I've been doing this shit for 4 years while people laughed at me and, you know, made fun of me and just rejected me. And finally, after 3.5 years of slogging through, Spirit started to send me some people who believed in me. And that's you. And I couldn't do this without you. You know, this is a co-creation. The other part of this is that we're co-creating these messages together. These channel messages, the more engaged you are in the channel, the more engaged you are in the process of this, the more involved you're going to be in the channeled messages and then, you know, this co-creation. So like, comment, share, subscribe, donate, work with me, you know, be a part of this. Because I can't do this without you, all right? And remember this when you're doing your own thing with God. It's okay to put yourself out there. It's okay to own your strength. It's okay to own your beauty. In fact, that's what you came here to do, all right? Don't let your ego talk you out of that. Don't let anyone else talk you out of that either. Because again, they're not going to understand you. But I understand you. And I'm pretty sure you understand me. And I couldn't do this without you. Before you guys showed up and started believing in me, I was starting to feel like it was all for nothing. But thank goodness I didn't give up. Don't give up, okay? Keep pushing. You're not alone. I love you, all right? My website is sacredmuseproject.com if you want to work with me, if you want to donate or anything like that. But either way, I love you. If you just want to comment and say hello, if you just want to say thank you, that would be so appreciated too. If you want to collaborate, if you're a web designer or an investor and you want to invest in this beautiful project I have for the collective that's only going to benefit everyone, it's going to be free for everyone. And I just need to pay a web designer. I don't have that kind of money right now, but I'm being guided by Spirit to do this work for the collective, for the rebel soldiers. For those of you that haven't watched that channeled message yet, go watch it. It's for you, if this is resonating. All right, I love you. Keep going. sacredmuseproject.com. All right, see you next time.